And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon.
Sit down, shut up, and listen up.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon alongside Lucas DeSangro, the new kid on the block, the intern, filling in. Well, not filling in, sitting in, chatting, talking a little bit of wrestling, and learning a little bit about radio and how not to do a radio show by sitting in on this one and learning the best of the worst here. At least something like that. Can hardly do worse than I have. I say that all the time.
Very good.
Of course, and leave it to Nick Cataldi to agree.
Well, you're my friend.
Of course. That's what friends are for, right?
Yeah, believe me, my friend does that all the time.
Right.
With friends like that.
Who needs enemies?
Or pickles.
Yeah, we'll go with both of those.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little TNA here now.
Yeah. Oh, you mean wrestling? I'm sorry.
Yes, total nonstop action.
I'm sorry.
Vince Russo, that joke still apparently sits with us 11 years after you started the name of that bloody promotion. Good job. Good for you. All right, well, Main Event Mafia, they issued a challenge, or an offer that Aces and Eights couldn't refuse, and of course we also had the August 1st warning that TNA's been hyping a little bit as well. So between those two things, a little bit to talk about on Impact, plus the Bound for Glory series standings, thanks to a Bobby Roode going back to his roots, using a beer bottle as one half of beer money. He beat Hernandez to earn 7 points in the series. Joseph Park finally getting himself a win and beating Jay Bradley by pinfall, and then Austin Aries pinning AJ Styles to also get 7 points. Here are your current series standings. In 12th place, the win still hasn't gotten him out of the red, though. Joseph Park with negative 3 points. After losing 10 points for that disqualification, that brought him down to negative 10. The win brings him up to negative 3. Tied for 10th place, Jay Bradley and Kazarian. They haven't won a match yet. They're at 0. Hernandez and Bobby Roode are tied for 8th with 7 points. Jeff Hardy in sole possession of 7th place with 17 points. A 3-way tie for 4th, even though on the TNA website it says a 3-way tie for 3rd, but math was never their strong suit, apparently. Mr. Anderson, Chris Daniels, and Austin Aries each with 21 points. AJ Styles in 3rd place with 22. Samoa Joe in 2nd with 26. And a commanding lead in 1st place with 49 points, Magnus.
I feel like he's a breakout star at its finest. I feel like he's going to have a lot of potential going into Bound for Glory.
True, but on the same token, I mean, we still have quite a few weeks where, I mean, anything can happen and anybody can catch up. That's kind of like saying that a team in the NFL that's 4-0 is destined for the Super Bowl, and there have been times where a team has started 4-0 and not even made the playoffs. So,
yeah. But it's like you're making that much of a lead. You're really, like,
you're standing out. Yeah,
you're making a point. Like, I'm not to be messed with.
True, but I don't know. I guess the first thing that jumps to my mind is the 94 Montreal Expos, but it was the strike that stopped them. It wasn't necessarily them losing, so I guess that's probably not the best example. I don't know. Go figure.
Dream Team? The Eagles' Dream Team?
The Eagles, the Dream Team, the Dynasty.
Vince
couple of
Young
different,
screwed that up for us. Don't say that. Do not say we're a Dream Team. You haven't even played a game yet.
Yeah, there have been a few who have made some boisterous, dumb statements on that regard. But let's get back to Impact. We've got the clip here of the offer that Aces and Eights couldn't refuse from Impact.
Back in June, we put Main Event Mafia back together for 2 reasons. One, to get rid of Bully Ray as world champion, which we were successful at. And number 2 is to get rid of Aces and Eights. So we're halfway there right now, but we didn't get the fight that we wanted last time. But because we are a very persistent family, one way or another, Aces and Eights, we will get the fight that we want. And we're going to start by giving you an offer that you cannot refuse. You guys didn't get the fight that you wanted? That's because Kurt Angle ended up in the back of a pickup truck. Remember that? Remember that, guys? Yeah. See, we all understand how you guys operate. You guys cheat. You guys cheat. This is the only reason why Chris Sabin is the new world heavyweight champion. You guys want to fight dirty? You guys like to fight dirty? We can do dirty. We're not backing down.
You're not going to back down. Well, there are going to be some serious consequences. You see, what I'm talking about is a 5-on-5 match. Any members of Aces and Eights against the Main Event Mafia, August 15th in Norfolk, Virginia. And while it's going to be hardcore justice for Bully Ray, it's also going to be the end of another wrestler's career. Because whatever wrestler that gets pinned in that 5-on-5 match will have to leave TNA for good. Whoa. Which begins my process of elimination of Aces and Eights. Gentlemen, you don't seem to understand. Hey, this isn't a negotiation.
We knew it had to get physical, and you're right. It is on like a powder keg, and it has exploded. Mafia, Aces and Eights, bodies flying everywhere. Kevin never got an answer from Aces and Eights in terms of that challenge. Be any higher. Career on the line at Hardcore Justice. 5-on-5 Main Event Mafia against Aces and Eights. We are going to have a fight at Hardcore. What the hell? Wow. August 1 warning. Identity revealed as the MMA legend Tito Ortiz.
The crowd reaction was as close as you could get to crickets chirping, or at least a simultaneous expression of, who? That's pretty much how everybody reacted. Another MMA wrestling crossover guy. I mean, they brought in King Mo. He's had some injuries, which Dixie Carter will talk about at some... Well, we'll get into that probably in the next segment. And then you bring in Rampage Jackson. You immediately put him in as part of the Main Event Mafia. And now Tito Ortiz, he comes out and just has a stare down with everybody from the Main Event Mafia and Aces and Eights. And that leads people to wondering, what's he going to do? I think more people are wondering, who is he? Wait, he was an MMA. Okay, why is he? There's just a lot of confusion and perplexion as opposed to intrigue and interest, I think.
You want to bring back somebody that's like. You want to bring back somebody that's really could draw some get butts in the buckets really with crowd and stuff like that. You should bring back Ken Shamrock when he was with Raw's War 1998. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but get somebody bigger. Not a lot of people know who Tito Ortiz is. If you got Randy Couture or Chuck Liddell, somebody who's been in there a while, he's basically done with MMA.
On the same token, I mean, you mentioned Ken Shamrock. 1998 was 15 years ago. Ken Shamrock was kind of doing that UFC, WWF crossover thing when you were in diapers. I mean, 15 years is a long time. And, I mean, people have some decent memory, but I don't know. I mean, didn't they already go down the Ken Shamrock well
he's
before?
He's on Bellator MMA with Randy Couture and Joe Rogan and stuff like that. So he's got a good fan base there, I guess. People still remember. I feel
So is that the UFC retirement home? Since you've declared TNA as WWE's retirement home?
Yeah, I said that over the break. I said they've been bringing in a lot of old superstars from WWE. If you think about it, even in the earlier years, they had Christian Cage and they had Jeff Hardy come in the first time. Jeff Jarrett, on and off from WCW to WWE, and then he came to, made TNA. was just
Yeah, a lot of people jumped back and forth. All right. We'll save that for the end here. I love having a little bit of fun with this here. Now, this is courtesy of BuzzFeed.com. 28 signs that you're a pro wrestling fan. And they start off by saying it's derided as a cultural skid mark, a lowbrow circus of steroid freaks in their undies pretending to hit each other. Knew you were going to laugh at that.
I couldn't help it.
And yet it has sustained as a viable attraction for over 100 years, bringing in enormous crowds and pay-per-view buy rates.
It's had ups and downs.
It has.
Yes.
It's a mad and wacky world, and here's a few signs you might be one of us. And surprisingly, not one of them listening to WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Sorry.
too specific.
You said
I know. All right. First of all, when someone says WWF, you jump to correct them, and you're sad that you even have to.
Well, it also was the WWF at one time.
Yes, the Worldwide Wrestling Federation.
Right.
I'm telling you, the kid knows his stuff.
I only heard about this. I wasn't old enough to know about.
Wasn't there also like WCCW was one of the?
Well, that was a territory.
Yeah.
That was a territory down in Texas, World Class Championship Wrestling.
Right.
That was where the Von Erichs were based out of.
There was
back in
Florida
the 80s.
wrestling. There was studio wrestling. And,
Yeah, Jim Crockett Promotions in the Carolinas. That was back when you had all the territories.
Ohio Valley Wrestling. They had like no, that's more. No, I'm sorry.
That was more recent. You had the
wrong one.
the
Calgary
AWA,
Stampede. I mean
Calgary Stampede, the AWA in Minnesota. There were a bunch of different ones.
I don't know how I got those two mixed up. Those are two different like countries.
We weren't about to say continents. I hope.
I no.
It's all right. School's out for the summer. You're doing okay here, Lucas. It's all
okay,
right.
number 2 or 3 or whatever.
I'm going to scare him away here. Number 2, you've grown tired of explaining to people how it's not fake, it's predetermined. And they go on to say, and even more tired of their ass-backwards explanation of how things really work. And they give an example. You see, that table's made of reconstructed styrofoam, and they play the sound of wood breaking over the PA system at just the right time. And
I never knew all that.
also, that concrete floor is actually a trampoline made to look like concrete. And he's wearing a body brace. All kinds of good stuff.
I'm guilty of some of that.
Number 3, you have a love-hate relationship with WWE. You hate what it's become, but you would give anything for it to be what it once was, and it shows pictures of some of the wrestlers from the 91 Royal Rumble as well as from the Attitude Era. Number 4, you've become desensitized to seeing men of all shapes and sizes in ill-fitting spandex. And it has a picture in here of Rikishi. Very perfect example. The 400-pound Samoan wearing basically just a thong.
Cellulite galore.
All right, number 5. You'll always think of The Rock as a wrestler first who occasionally makes a movie or two on the side. Like that little gap between 2004 and 2012.
The Scorpion King. That I didn't like. Like I liked it as like a movie, but I didn't like The Rock's acting in that. That was probably one of his worst movies.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, there was Doom. There were a few clunkers in there, but
that was a first person too. Like they tried to make it too much like the game. It was just his voice in the back.
Exactly. Number 6, you have wrestlers or CDs of wrestler entrance themes that you prefer no one knew about. I have.
I've always hated them.
What the wrestler entrance theme?
Actually,
CDs?
I shouldn't say that because Gorgeous George had one. Pomp and Circumstance.
This is true, and that Randy Savage borrowed off of.
Well, but there was others, and then I think I really got annoyed, believe it or not, when Hulk Hogan's was Eye of the Tiger. It had nothing to do with him.
Really?
No. It was about the movie, not about him.
No, I mean, like, he actually had... Oh, my God.
Yeah, he had
initially,
Eye of the Tiger.
in 82, after he filmed Rocky 3.
Right, and he became a good guy, because he was a bad guy until then.
Yeah, Survivor's Eye of the Tiger was associated with Rocky 3, so Hogan came out to Eye of the Tiger.
Which had nothing to do with him, you know. And as of late, who was it? Punk or Cena has a cult of personality.
That's CM Punk.
CM Punk.
He has...
You know, where does it fit? You know, I don't get it, but, you know, that's okay.
Yeah, and as I look here at the caption, I have 4 of the 6 that they have listed here. Full Metal, the album, WWF, the music volume, I think 2 and 4 they have pictured here, as well as the anthology. Actually, the anthology's in my car as we speak.
I have a
Well, your generation, you have MP3s of all these,
but like
I'm sure.
I have a playlist. I have a playlist that I have on my iPod, which is like I'm not trying to sound like uppity, but like I have a playlist that has, like, it's for getting me pumped up for when I'm about to, like, do a sporting event or something, like when I'm about to play soccer or something. Half of those songs are, like, old WWE theme songs. Like, I got Mark Henry's current one, like, Somebody's Gonna, you know.
Yeah,
And then I got, like, Rob Van Dam. I've got Jeff Hardy's Resurrected. I've got so many of them. It's like that and 3 Days Grace, and that's it. Because they're, like, I understand why they picked them. It gets them so jazzed for the event, like...
Yeah, it's part of the hype and whatnot. I don't know where you're thinking sounding uppity. I mean, your nose isn't as big as Triple H's, but it's pretty close. So I guess you're going for that Greenwich snob type thing. I don't know.
No.
All right, number 7, you had early geography lessons via wrestler bios. Where else would you be able to learn that Bret Hart was from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, the Iron Sheik from Tehran, Iran, and Funaki from Japan, and
Gorilla Monsoon from Manchuria.
Exactly, Gorilla Monsoon.
By way of Willingboro, you know.
Yeah, by way of Willingboro, New Jersey.
I used to play with the action figures a lot. I like John Cena was like Western Newbury, Massachusetts. I'm like, let's just go Boston. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of those.
Like the Isle of Samoa, like Parts Unknown was probably my favorite because it was just like, okay.
Well, Parts Unknown's an old one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Parts Unknown had a lot of occupants.
Yeah, that was like...
Mr. X and...
even the Ultimate Warrior, yeah.
Yeah, right, Parts Unknown. Yeah.
Kane, apparently, now he's from, like... I think it was, like, 666, like, they said he was from, like... I think I remember one entrance scene was, like, he was from hell. They said, like, from, you know...
Yeah, well, and somehow, I guess The Undertaker moved around because he was originally from Death Valley, and then he became from Houston, Texas, and... Yeah, there's quite a few of those. All right, number 8, you've read, they show here 1 or 2 or 6 of these, and they have a picture of 8 different autobiographies, from Mankind to the Hardy Boys to Ric Flair, Lita, Bret Hart, Chris Jericho, Classy Freddie Blassie, and Shawn Michaels. And as looking at these, I do have 3 of these books at home. I'll let you figure out which 3. Number 9, you're ready to chant ECW at a moment's notice, and it shows a GIF picture of, I guess, somebody trying to usher a cat off the top of a telephone pole, leaping off the top and landing perfectly on its feet on the grass, some 50 feet, maybe higher than that, on the ground.
I do that all the time.
I witnessed that a lot, like, especially since Rob Van Dam returned. I was at Money in the Bank in Philadelphia, and it was really cool because, like, they had, like, Paul Heyman come out, and as soon as Heyman and, like, and Rob Van Dam, they were all chanting, like, EC-Dub, EC-Dub.
Yeah, it never goes away.
It never will. It's like... We shall never forget.
I really relate to this one. Number 10, when feeling cynical, you consider finally doing a full heel turn. When that happens, I already have my new show open, ready to go for it. Courtesy of Mike Samsel. All right, number 11, you look at folding chairs differently than most people. And trash cans.
Okay.
And light bulbs. And they have pictures, associated with them. Number 12, we'll get to 14, then we'll take care of a break here. Number 12, you've tried 4 beers at once, Stone Cold style.
Oh, I've just done. I did that with water bottles.
I've done it with cans of Sprite. I remember being outside in Chamonix High School, right outside the band room, and just crashing a few of them together and going down.
I used to do like I used to go to this summer camp that was like, or I still do, but like. They had this like this backstop in a baseball field. They had like the little equipment like dumpster thing. I used to get up and take the water bottle and do like the Triple H. I'd like bounce off the backstop and do like
the water spit, exactly. These are of the 28 signs that you're a pro wrestling fan. Number 13, you've tried at some point ripping apart your shirt Hulk Hogan style. I've definitely done that one.
Oh my god!
Never. Why would I wreck a shirt to act like him?
If it was an old shirt that you were going to throw out anyway.
I wear my old shirts. Can't you tell?
Yeah, but you guys.
I know. You should probably get that thing washed.
Yeah, well, so why do I got to tear it apart?
Did anybody notice how the reason he did that because he had like the little things in the back. He had like the.
Yeah, the little slits in the back cut up.
It's like...
Well, the fact that he's got muscles on his muscles might not have hurt him either,
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And 14, we'll end it here for now. You've tried at some point taking off your towel Val Venus style. What a great way to end that. All right, we'll come back and get the other 14. We've got Ed from the Northeast on the line. We'll get him on the other side. And also some more news and notes today in wrestling history. More to do here. Fearon alongside Lucas, the Prodigy intern. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.